If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we will now begin our post-race media availability for the 8th Annual American Ethanol E15 225 here at Chicagoland Speedway. And we are joined by our race-winning team. We are joined by Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 SiriusXM Toyota. And we are joined by crew chief Wes Ward. Kyle, everybody up on the wheel tonight. There's weather in the area. A lot on the line with the chase drivers. Walk us through the race and particularly those frequent restarts you had near the end.
Yeah, it was a really good race for our truck. The first run was okay. Definitely after the qualifying session on those tires, they just didn't react the way I really expected them to. So once we got those off in the second run, third run, every time we put tires on, truck felt really good, and we were pretty fast out front. We weren't as good as we needed to be maybe in traffic, but guys did a good job on pit road helping us out with that and keeping us up front. I did slice through traffic there on that late restart, but a bunch of those guys in front of us didn't have equal tires, so that was a little swayed maybe. But overall, just felt really good to get back in the trucks and to win here again and have an opportunity to do that with my guys at KBM. It's fun to do. Feels like it's been forever, but can't say enough about Eric Jones and Wes Ward. Those guys did a great job working on my truck for me yesterday when I wasn't able to, so I appreciate that. And all the guys at the shop do an amazing job each and every week, month, year. It's fun to have the relationships with those people and the amount of effort that they put in. So that was really good. As far as the last restarts there, it was kind of hectic. There was a lot on the line for those guys. I know they were racing for a bunch. I was only worried about us, so I knew that Hemric behind me was probably one of the better guys in the series that I can trust. That I gave him some hand signals and he followed right along, and we were able to come home 1-2 that way. So that felt really good, and just keep going. Hopefully the 4 and the 9 now being in the chase will be a good thing for us, and we can go after a championship with the other teams.
Wes, your Toyota Tundra tonight was incredibly strong. How smooth was that transition going from practice with Eric behind the wheel to having Kyle Busch behind the wheel for tonight's race?
It really wasn't that difficult. I mean, Eric and Kyle think a lot alike. I think Eric knows exactly what Kyle feels and what he wants in the truck, so it really made it easy. The truck unloaded really strong, and that helped. So didn't really make a lot of changes, just kind of stayed on our plan and kind of thought it would be a good fit for Kyle, and it ended up being that way.
Good deal. Congratulations. We'll open the floor to questions. We'll start with Tim and go to Reed.
Kyle, 5 wins in this race over your 6 appearances and 10 wins at this track. What do you know about this place that nobody else knows?
Certainly, I guess I know a little bit, but you always want to know more, that's for sure. I wish that I'd had more wins here on the Sprint Cup side. We've had 1 at least, I think. It's a fun place, and it's definitely wearing out a little bit. There's certainly some challenges to it. You can run all over this racetrack. It seemed like tonight, for whatever reason, not sure why, but the groove was more so towards the bottom. The middle and the top didn't really come in, but I remember a few years ago racing with Bodine that the middle was where I won this race, so just wasn't that way tonight. But overall, it's a fun racetrack for sure, and it lends itself normally to multiple lanes of racing. I think we'll expect some of that tomorrow with the Xfinity race and then again on Sunday.
Go to Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. I heard you say in post-race that you built the truck that Cameron was driving. I think Rico was driving one of yours too. How big a part of KB? Oh no, he wasn't.
I think they have one on order.
Oh, okay. How big a part of KBM now is being the supplier side?
Well, we've got to be careful, that's for sure, on what we're doing and how much we're giving. We just built the truck, chassis and body, right?
Yes.
And all the components, like we shipped it out the door, pretty much needed a motor and trans. I mean, it was race ready, but those guys had to set it up. They had to put the sway bars in it, the springs and the shocks and all that stuff, and so they obviously did a really good job, and they seem to have really good speed. They didn't qualify very well. That was sort of a shock to see that they didn't have the qualifying speed, which I could say arguably we haven't had very much either. The 51 seems to qualify okay, but it's certainly nice to know that our stuff's fast and we are building good stuff, and when guys are smart and do a good job with it, that then it rewards them of doing a good job, and it's fast on the racetrack, so it's cool to see.
Go back to Chris.
ChrisKnightCatchfence.com. Congratulations on the win. Kyle, you have 2 drivers now that are eligible to run for the championship. How big of a deal is that for KBM to not only have 1 like you did last year, but now have 2?
Yeah, it's huge. You know, it gives us a greater opportunity to go out there and race for a championship. There's 8 guys going for it. We got 2, so that you would think that hopefully we can at least have 1 to Homestead. That's for sure. But you know, the 9 had a rough night tonight. That was a bummer to see. Hopefully he's okay, and they can get back on their horse next week and be really good at Loudon. But overall, the 4 truck, you know, he's still struggling a little bit, let's call it. You know, I think they came out of here with a decent finish. I think they finished 4th, so that's really good to end the day that way. It's a good points day, let's call it, and that'll take you right through the first 2 rounds probably of the chase, is having days like that. But it's a little scary when you get back in traffic a little bit, 6th, 8th, 10th, and you have all those cautions that keep happening, and guys wrecking stuff. You can get caught up in one of those pretty easy. So he did a good job, obviously, missing all that stuff and being able to bring home a solid finish.
And William Byron hasn't made many mistakes this season, but tonight he made a mistake and got loose while racing another truck on the bottom. Is it more pivotal for him to have this mistake now than compared to somewhere like Las Vegas in a couple weeks?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That was probably one of his first mistakes that he's made this year, and we expected some of that to happen early on in the season, not right now, but at least he had it here this week, and let's call it got that out of the way. And you know, he can learn hopefully a little bit from what happened there, and not make that same mistake happen again. Vegas is a place that's just like this. He did a super job at Texas, you know, earlier this year when him and Crafton were racing really hard for the lead there, and Crafton was all over his door. You'd expect him to get loose and have something like that happen at Texas, but he didn't. He mastered right through it like a pro, and so we'll go back and we'll have our meeting on Monday. We'll talk about some things and get him focused and ready for next week and moving on.
Any additional questions? Kyle, I have one additional question. You have the experience, you've experienced the playoff pressure of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. How are you going to counsel your drivers about handling the pressure they're going to feel now in this upcoming Camping World Truck Series chase?
I don't know. I mean, you can't let that affect you. You got to take it one race at a time. You got to try to make sure that you keep your head on your shoulders each and every lap, and keep working towards a solid finish. You know, you may have a problem on pit road, you may get behind, you may have a loose wheel or something like that, but these races are short, so it's harder to come back in sometimes. But even in a cup race, if you had that on the final stop, you know, it's going to be frustrating, but you got to make the most of whatever you can and go on into next week. You know, things will change. If you had a bad one week, you try to go out there and win the next and put everything that you can into that. Otherwise, you just try to focus on, you know, pointing your way through, because there's going to be guys that point their way through all the time. So we'll have some more of those discussions this week and getting those guys prepared and ready to go.
Good deal. Congratulations again on the win, and good luck in the chase.
You got it. Thanks.
Yep. Long time no see.
I'm gonna start off this right. I'm gonna start changing stuff up.
We will continue on now with our post-race media availability for the 8th Annual American Ethanol E15 225. And we are now joined by tonight's runner-up finisher and qualifier for the inaugural NASCAR Camping World Truck Series chase. And that is Daniel Hemric, driver of the number 19 DrawTite Ford for Brad Keselowski Racing. Daniel, tell us what it's like to be part of this first chase field.
Yeah, it's an honor to be finally, I can say it, locked into the first Camping World Truck Series chase. It's as soon as it was implemented into our series this year, we knew we had to go to work and make the most out of every weekend. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that we didn't win any races to get to this point. But I promise you, as a group, we were able to buckle down and make the most of every weekend. And that's how we found ourselves in the position with a shot. So all in all, just proud of these guys, everybody on the DrawTite Ford F-150. Today, this entire time leading up to this point, now that we solidly have ourselves in the chase, we can go after this championship.
That's outstanding. And now we are also joined by the top seed in the upcoming NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race. Let that sink in. That's William Byron, driver of the number 9 Liberty University Toyota for KBM. And William, not the night you probably were hoping for, but you still have had a lot of success this year. Do you feel confident now going into the chase as the number 1 seed?
I think mainly just tonight was a learning experience. Just just learning, what not to do and kind of get those things out of the way before the chase. So we've had good races, some bad. Tonight was a bad one, but we I feel like got that out of the way, and I'm looking forward to next weekend at New Hampshire, shift the focus to that, and try and get the best finish we can to advance ourselves through each round.
Good deal. We'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question for either gentleman, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Tim.
Daniel, how tough was Kyle tonight, and did you think if you had a couple more laps you might have had a better shot?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, we struggled a little bit with the speed of our truck all night, but we did what we've done all year. We put ourselves in position when it, right before they wrote the check and gave the trophies away, but we didn't have enough speed to really run with them. We were both able to work really good together. When the guys, like Kyle's experience as he is, getting into the restart zone box and taking off, we were able to really get hooked up, and it helped me gain a spot as well, because if I wouldn't have been pushing Kyle, I couldn't have got the second and probably would have, leveled out in third or fourth. So just didn't quite have enough speed, but have to battle this chase is getting yourself into a position where you can race for it. And now that we're in it, we just got to, like I said, buckle down and pay attention to all the fine details that will, get our team where we have that speed and we can make runs, throughout each round and put ourselves in position.
Go to the right to Chris.
ChrisKnightGetFence.com. Congratulations on you guys both getting in. Daniel, do you have any new trucks that you're going to bring into the chase? Are you guys, what's your strategy going into the chase?
Yeah, I feel really confident in our Ford F-150s that we've built in preparation for the chase. We were all firm believers of not putting the cart before the horse, so to say. But now that we prepared for this moment, I know we've got a lot of good stuff to bring to New Hampshire next week, and we've been able to go back through some of our stuff and rebuild our trucks and innovate and bring new stuff to the racetrack. And we had to get to this point where we knew we could race for it first. So now that we've done that, I feel like we can implement everything we've been working on all summer leading to this point and go to work.
And William, you have made very few mistakes this season in trucks and had a misfortune earlier in the race. Did you learn anything tonight that you think that will help you maybe when you move into Las Vegas or Texas or even Homestead later in the year?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot to be learned, especially as a rookie. So I think it was just a position where I was in the worst possible position and made a mistake and misjudged. And you learn from those things the most if you kind of push those lines. So this was kind of the last chance to push those lines past what you know to do, I think. And so I was able to do that. And it wasn't obviously the best outcome, but we're really looking forward to next weekend and kind of turn the page.
Any additional questions for these gentlemen? We'll get a mic here to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. For both of you, with this being the first chase, what are you most excited about, and also what are you, I guess, most leery about going into this?
For me personally, I'll kind of answer your question backwards there as far as the leery part. Just to get yourself in position to race, to get in the chase. Everybody's seeing how crazy the restarts get, with 10, 15, even as early as 30 laps to go. And, as a guy who's worked on my stuff and built my own race cars growing up, I feel like we're tearing up a lot of stuff for no reason. That's very very unfortunate, and I hate it for everybody, every race team that busts their tails putting these trucks together. So the restarts and the late race cautions is something we all got to keep our heads on our shoulders a little bit better and be able to make better decisions when the moment's right and knowing when to get yourself out of those situations. And as far as excitement level, this is what we've been building for all year. We've constantly put ourselves in position week in and week out to make the most out of every situation. And now that, like I said, our preparation to this point is why we're in the position we are in. So moving forward, everything gets elevated to the next level, and it's time to go to work.
Yeah, I'd say just the thing I'm most worried about is just like what he said. There's been a lot of crazy stuff happening on restarts and just late race situations. So hopefully that stuff doesn't carry over. I think everyone will use their head in that way, and I think what I'm most excited about is just this chance to have that adrenaline rush of 7 races to win a championship is what we all want to play for. So it's going to be really fun, and I think it's something we've been looking forward to all year.
Any additional questions? Well, gentlemen, congratulations to you both for making the chase, and good luck as you
Appreciate it. It's going to be fun.
says hi, they'll probably look at each other and laugh. But they're probably not.
That's probably pretty close.